And good evening to those of you who are joining us on this wonderful, if I do say so myself, feed of the Men's European Qualifiers 2018 in association with MRDA, the Men's Roller Derby Association. We are going to bring you the final game of the first day, which will be starting in about 3 minutes, which will be Tyne Roller Derby up against the Manneken Beasts from Belgium. I am the Golden Snatch. I'm joined by...
I am Brom. Hi.
Did you forget your name for a
I
second?
did.
You were like, I am?
It took me a minute.
And we have the wonderful stat man on the producer seat who's going to keep us in line, hopefully. Try his best anyway. We're going to run you through the rosters for the teams that you can now see Manneken Beasts on your screen. And Tyne are playing in white with black and gold accents. I'll just take you through that roster for you very quickly. So we have 0 Barnabash, 1 Dark Matter, 1-3 Pablo Diablo, 137 Fubar, 181 Tank, 26 Chemical, 42 Badam, 44 Kamakenzi, 46 Blockbeard, 50 Bull, 567 Dalai Karma, 6 Horhiba, 64 60 Quadbit, 762 Jam Munition, and 8 is Sparky.
And the Manneken Beasts are 004 Panda, 1 Flash Bandicoot, 1030 Track Vadar, 14 Hurton Senna, 2 Iway, 30 the Spaniard, 32 Labouche, 62 Murdoch, 88 Trick or Threat. And that is the Manneken Beasts. And we have about 1 minute 50 until Derby.
And what can we talk about in that 1 minute 50? Well, a couple of things. So first of all, both these teams have already played once today. Manneken Beast taking the win against Barrow Inferno. An impressive feat, given that not only have they travelled here all the way from Belgium, but they have only travelled here with 8 players. And they played a really, really tenacious game. And we'll have to see if they can play the same high-level energy derby that they played earlier, because this is a round-robin tournament weekend. Every team is playing 4 other teams and full-length games. So, you know, I hope they've been getting to the gym. And Tyne took a huge win earlier, and that was over Nottingham Super Smash Brawlers, and they put up something like 517 points. So, you know, nice tidy little win.
It was a good start to the weekend.
It was average.
So the winner of this game will tie for first place so far, with 2 games won apiece, and the loser will be in current third.
I'll leave you to do the mathematics of that bit, because I don't really know what's going on in terms of the tournament structure. They just put me here to talk about roller derby and make occasional puns. So, speaking of roller derby, we have 32 seconds to get us kicked off, and lining up on your screen on the slick, not just quick jam line, we have Dark Matter for Tyne and they are up against Trick or Threat.
So you might notice that we are currently absent of overlays on the screen, so we'll do our best to keep you updated on the scores and the time throughout the game.
We just didn't want anything to distract you from our lovely voices.
Exactly. Yeah.
No more visual stimuli for you.
So everyone's quickly moving into position.
And Dark Matter using Barnabash to edge through a little bit. Oh goodness me. And Dark Matter very cleverly drawing Trick or Threat back. And that's the quickest penalty I've seen in a long time. Less than 20 seconds into the game for a jammer penalty to be called on Trick or Threat, making this a power jam in favour of Tyne and Dark Matter.
So Dark Matter completes the scoring pass, about to re-enter your screens, so coming on the scoring.
And you can see Dark Matter just working their way around, but some nice reforming at the front there by Manneken Beast, not giving him an easy time of it.
The Spaniard recycling Dark Matter all the way to the back of the pack, going back to turn 2.
Great power kill there by Manneken Beasts, as Trick or Threat has re-entered play. But Dark Matter through and putting up the first 5 points of the game on the board in favour of Tyne
So Manneken Beast reforming, but denied any opportunity to stop Dark Matter in his tracks. He gets through thanks to an apex jump on the inside line and picks up another 4 points to take Tyne and Fear's game total in the first couple of minutes to 9.
Scientific point of clarification. Can you stop Dark Matter in its tracks?
I don't think maybe there are some scientific experts out there in the ether that would be able to let us know if you can literally stop. The Statman has informed us that no, you can't.
Ah, maybe that's why he's called that. We've got Sparky on the jam line up against Panda. And Sparky, a pretty new transfer to Tyne and Fear, but making his mark already, picking up that lead jammer status. Panda being drawn back in the straightaway by Hawley Bear. Oh, Bear drawing back Panda, isn't that nice?
Oh, if only they were on the same side.
That would be quite a sight to behold. Sparky doing his laps, tries the apex jump, doesn't quite land it in bounds, so resets in turn 1.
Panda reaching the front of the pack, gets that initial.
And Sparky not going to risk points going on the board for their opposition, so calls off that jam. And that puts the score at 18-0. So Tyne and Fear out in front, Manneken Beast yet to score, but it's early days. We are, of course, lucky that this is a round-robin tournament, but we are playing full-length games, which is fairly unusual for a round-robin. We might normally play, 40-minute games with no half-time or, a half-hour kind of round-robin format, but nope, we are giving you as much derby as we can cram into one weekend.
So Fubar fighting at the front of the pack for Tyne and Fear.
And that is Hertom Senna at the back, and they were a really great force on track earlier, but was struggling a little bit against that Tyne and Fear wall. Now resetting into turn 1, having to go back behind that pretty tall tripod.
Only a few hours ago, Fubar was on every third or fourth jam. In fact, Tyne and Fear were rostering him in that jammer position every couple of jams if they could. And, I mean, absolute stamina being displayed.
Although I do think, having had a chat with a couple of the Tyne and Fear lads earlier, I'm pretty sure they're going to jam Moo as well this game, and they didn't play him at all earlier, so they've been quite strategic about this weekend, wanting to keep some jammers fresh. And speaking of keeping jammers fresh, Fubar is going to be given a chance to rest his legs in the penalty box, as he is going to be there on a cut track penalty.
And so we're going to see the first points on the board for Manneken Beasts. So there was a no pass, no penalty. And another scoring pass for Murdoch. 4 points picked up. Fubar is standing now in the penalty box.
And you see Murdoch there just trying to take that outside edge, but 6-7-2, that Jamunition.
Just 10 seconds left of the jam.
Jamunition taking a seat in the penalty box now, with Fubar back on track and completing a 4-point scoring pass.
Pack picking up pace just as it comes to an end.
So as we head into Jam 4 now, 32 plays 14 with exactly 14 points apiece scored in that last Jam. So all of Manneken Beast's points scored in Jam 3.
So we've got Trickle Threat and Mackenzie lined up. 6 minutes gone on the period clock so far.
Now, Mackenzie told me earlier that he'd hurt his ankle, so I hope he's not going to be a daft banana. But, I think he was lying to me, because look at him go. Oh,
it was
he's a quick little twinkle toes, that cheeky one. Mackenzie lead for Tyne and Fear.
But Trickle Threat gets through on that initial relatively quickly after Mackenzie. As he comes to the back of the pack, called off, denied the opportunity to pick up any points. And Tyne and Fear just taking the 1 to the score.
Just having a quick look at the penalty board so far. We're with 4 jams under our respective belts. We only have 4 penalties to a team at the moment. So that'll be interesting to see if that trend continues. Of course, if Manneken Beasts aren't going to get tired with the short rotation they have to run, mistakes might be made. But as we know, penalties can be the game decider in formats such as this.
So Mustache on track for Tyne and Fear, the man with potentially the best leggings of the tournament.
Or the worst, whatever.
Or the worst, which depends on which way you want to look at it.
And let me just say this, folks, since this is a family-friendly tournament, we're not going to describe the precise nature of the leggings, but I, for one, am quite relieved that we don't have the zoom on the leggings right now. It's not to my taste, as it were. Mustache, however, is very much to my taste. He is a cracking jammer, just using all of that track. Nice drawback there by Flash Bandicoot on Mustache. And Panda with the Star Stash through, but no time to capitalise on a scoring pass as the jam is called.
Well, Trick or Threat returning to the track more or less instantly. A very short jam.
And we're going to see Moo taking the star and take it to the track for the first time today. So as I said, Tyne and Fear did rest him earlier. I think he was allowed a bit of a lie-in. Good for you.
Keep your players rested.
Some of us were in Weatherspoons early this morning, Moo. You don't know.
For breakfast, I hasten to add.
It was an excellent breakfast. Anyway, Moo is an excellent jammer. I've seen him jam many a time, and it'll be interesting to see what he does against this Belgium team. It's a very tight pack off the slick, not just quick jam line.
And we've seen lead awarded to Panda.
And that, I think, is the first lead status of the game for Manneken Beasts. So smiles all round for the Belgians.
And Moo gets out on the initial pass. Panda looking to probably try and get through and hit and quit as quickly as possible. And that is just 1 point apiece awarded to each team. So 35 for Tyne and Fear, plays 15 for Manneken Beasts in the first 9 minutes of the game.
And I'd like to just take a quick second to give a shout out to Roller Derby City. If at any point on your screen you can see our lovely officials or crew, they are sporting some rather fabulous t-shirts. They have kitted us all out this week with just some absolutely gorgeous official uniforms. And if you would like to look as fantastic as we do, you can check them out at www.rollerderbycity.com. And I do encourage you all to do so.
And so that's Tyne and Fear's Dark Matter, who cannot be stopped in their tracks, picking up lead, but it's a chase down as Trick or Threat, only about 40 feet behind.
Yeah, and what I really enjoyed there is that Dark Matter spun out the pack and then Trick or Threat did the exact same move. So, like imitating like there. And not in terms of points, though, as Dark Matter is putting up 3 for Tyne and Fear and none for Trick or Threat.
So Sparky is back for Tyne and Fear.
And that is Hertom Senna, who's, you know, he's quite a stature-wise, quite a diminutive jammer, but very strong, very agile, judging by what I saw on track earlier. Sparky, on the other hand, all legs and electricity, just fighting through that pack, does pick up leads, and Hertom Senna not far behind.
Look at that recycling from Tyne and Fear, just in getting in front of Hertom Senna time after time after time.
Oh, I'm going to sing the song now, you've said that. Time after
time.
Tyne after Tyne? Could that be the theme song? Was it too far?
Absolutely not.
I'll talk to them at half time. So just the officials having a little bit of a conference there off screen. Just double checking all the points are in order. That's what we like.
Making sure everything tallies up.
And now we've got Fubar up against Trick or Threat. So Manneken Beasts, again, with that very short roster, running pretty much a 3 jammer rotation. Tyne and Fear a little bit more wiggle room. They've got at least 5 active jammers on today's roster. So it'll be interesting to see if they play them strategically or if they just use the advantage of fresh legs. But at the moment, no opportunity for Tyne to show that, as Fubar is back in the box for a track cut. That's the second one he's incurred this game.
So Trickle Threat actually earlier on did get a cut track penalty as well, quite early on in the game. Fubar now returning. Fubar now returning the favour. And Trickle Threat deciding that they're quite happy leaving Fubar in the box for a power jam start.
And here we'll get to see Manneken Beast demonstrate their offense, which is very aggressive, very not quite scrappy's not quite the word, but quite unpredictable. However, looking at the wall, the pack that Tyne and Fear are putting out, I can see Jorge Bear and Nicholas Rage there, and you don't want to come up against those two on a good day.
So that last jam, 10 points, saw Manneken Beast take their points total up to 25, really closing the gap between them and Tyne and Fear.
Oh, they're a very, very tenacious team, and they've travelled here all the way from Belgium. We're very grateful to them for that, but they're not going to enter this tournament without a fight. They're going to absolutely play their gorgeous guts out. Panda with the running power start. Manneken Beast quite casual, setting up either side of the track, but just letting Panda get a feel for the wall. And he's just going to push them out of play. Interesting decision, but quite smart, as Fubar is back on track, having sat his penalty. Power jam is over.
And we've seen is people getting lead very quickly each jam, but actually we're now 30 seconds down in the jam so far in jam 10. And yet we've not seen a lead called.
Oh, you jinxed it there. Fubar goes very impressive out of the box, picking up lead after 40 seconds of play. And we have had a star removal, star stash by Panda, who is now pushing on just 2 at the front of the pack.
Yeah, Panda nearly completing a lap and a half. There's a minute down on the clock, and Panda's yet to get initial. Fubar now scoring. A forearms has been assessed against number 62.
That is Murdoch, so the pivot for Manneken Beast now sitting in the penalty box. And in the meantime, lovely clearance, offensive clearance there by Jorge Bear to get Fubar through.
So that's 51 plays, 25, 9 points picked up by Tyne and Fear in the last jam.
And it's my favourite little Scottish jammer, Mackenzie, on the line. I do have a soft spot for Kenzie.
So nearly quarter of the game gone, 16 and a half minutes left on the clock.
And Kenzie will be facing off against Trick or Threat. 2 quite different styles of jammers. Mackenzie with this like lightning footwork, which gets him lead jammer very quickly. Trick or Threat much more likely to use driving slices, powerful lateral cuts. And that has got him out the pack as well. But Kenzie puts 4 on the board, calls it off, heads back to bench for a wee bit of a sit down.
So 55 to 25, 4 more points for Tyne and Fear. At the start of the next jam, pretty much a quarter of the game gone so far.
And it's Mustache facing off against Hertom Senna. And Mustache being taken into the middle there, but oh, what a beautiful tactic. Oh no, didn't quite work. Now, Mustache in the box on a cut track penalty, and Hertom Senna is lead for the Manneken Beast. I think that's their second lead of the game.
So that's coming in for a scoring pass. A tough wall. The offense is coming in now from Manneken Beasts.
And the drawback there by number 26, that's Chemical.
Dragging the pack all the way back.
Mustache re-entering play with star in hand. You can see his green helmet there on the floor. Oh dear, something's happened.
And a low block has been assessed. So Mustache is straight back to the penalty box. Second power jam in a row.
Yeah, I think he came in feet first to that pattern. Maybe we'll see it on the replay if we're lucky. We may not, depending on camera angles. But yes, another power advantage for Hertom Senna. And he is lead, but they are just having a wee bit of discussion at the moment on how to get him through.
Yeah, Hertom Senna having a really hard time. Deciding to re-enter the pack was a bad call on that occasion. The cut track has been assessed. So Mustache is now back on the track. So the full 30 seconds will be served with only 10 seconds left on the clock of the jam.
Yeah, and I think Hertom Senna just overthought that bit and just got himself a bit tangled up and confused. I mean, it's always best to go back behind the players if you're not sure.
So we did see a star pass right at the end of the jam. Mustache handed to Dog. It didn't actually do any favours for Tyne and Fear as they scored 0, which I believe is the first time the game so far that they've been held to 0 points. Manneken Beast picking up 5. So you see there, 55 plays 30 with 13 minutes left of the period.
But of course, Manneken Beast are going to start on a power jam. And we are in a timeout, so we'd like to take a moment to chat to you about some other things.
Massive thank you to our stream providers this weekend. Derby Duck Productions. I've had the absolute pleasure of working with them 2 or 3 times this year at various events based in the UK, bringing you all the action from MEQ 2018.
We do love Derby Duck.
We
do.
Did a phenomenal job earlier this year at the World Cup in Manchester.
World Cup that we were
that little thing that brought 5,000 people to Manchester earlier this year.
That was pretty great.
And was streamed on the British Broadcasting Corporation. I mean,
I knew you were going to mention the BBC at some point.
It's been a great year for UK Derby and internationally as well.
Oh, and there's still more to come in the UK this year, which is very exciting, but you know, we won't talk about that now. We'll just
because we're all focused on the action on the track.
We do want to focus on the action on the track, and the action is about to get back underway. You can see the officials dispersing back into their positions, and you've got Panda's gone to the jam line, but Hertom Senna is going, no mate, like I've got a penalty, you need to sit back down. But it is Moo now with the star for Tyne and Fear. Now, he did not get lead jammer last time he was out. He's got a good chance now, and he does pick it up nice and quick. 5 seconds is all it took.
Yeah, pack advantage sitting with Tyne and Fear as the Manneken Beasts are 1 blocker down. Jammer is standing in the box and returns to track. Moo coming in for a second scoring pass.
Yeah, he picked up the Grand Slam on that last one. A lovely, smooth little leap over the apex there. We have now had a star pass to the Manneken Beast pivot.
Flash Bandicoot.
And it's interesting to see them using the star passes. They did not use them a lot in their earlier game where they did have the advantage. They were winning. But maybe it's to conserve some energy to try to force the call off from Tyne and Fear and prevent them bleeding any more points.
So that star pass hasn't led to an initial pass just yet. There it is, there's the initial pass. There is just under 1 minute left of the jam.
Oh, nice bit of offense offered up there by number 64, 60 quad bit. Just getting moved through on that inside line. That was a big jam there for Tyne and Fear. 18 points on the board, holding Manneken Beast scoreless. Not an easy feat. And that puts the score at 73-30 in favour of the team from Newcastle.
So 11 minutes, 30 seconds left of the period. 5 seconds called. Jam's about to restart with Panda going up against Dark Matter.
And lovely camera angle there. Sees Dark Matter just kind of crabbing on that inside line to pick up lead in a matter of seconds. Panda removing the star there on your screen. Takes that inside line. Oh my goodness, manages to stay in bounds. Beautiful footwork there by Panda.
Two fantastic exits from the pack, both from Dark Matter and from Panda.
I've never really thought of a panda as a creature with superb footwork because it's mostly just sits there and eats bamboo, doesn't it? But you know, I kind of want to know why he's called Panda now.
It's cute and cuddly.
Cute and cuddly.
Are we gonna see Dark Matter's incredible exit?
Yeah.
Look how quick that was.
Really nice work, and so smart to throw his body with all that muscle into the middle of the track just to ensure that he stays in bounds. Really, really clever jamming.
It even looked quick in slow motion.
Sparky now taking on Trick or Threat, and Sparky spinning quick as lightning on the outside line, picks up leads.
Manneken Beast doing a good job of breaking up Tyne and Fear's wall, but they've regrouped. Sparky taking off to the inside line, but Murdoch goes with him.
Yeah, Sparky, quick check in with the bench, goes, yeah, I'm done now. Picks up 3 points.
And so that is now 81 for Tyne and Fear, playing 30. Manneken Beast held to 30 for a few jams now, with 9.5 minutes left on the clock.
And it's nice to see a team which, despite, you know, we've got a 51-point differential, but compared to some of the differentials we've seen today, these two teams are much more evenly matched at the moment. So it's nice to see these kind of shorter, more tactical jams. Mackenzie picking up lead there for Tyne and Fear.
Well, Tyne and Fear early on today, you know, they were breaking the hundreds by this point only a couple of games ago.
Yeah. And I'm still so impressed that Manneken Beast have come out here with a roster of 8 and are still putting out this contention. It's really wonderful to see.
Mentally, that can be quite daunting as well, knowing that you are 8 people that are going up against a full-strength Tyne and Fear.
But I think if they knew that coming in, I think, you know, you kind of come in with a nothing to lose attitude, don't you? You kind of go, look, if we win, good for us. We've got 8 people,
Absolutely.
And they did win earlier against Barrow and Furnace. And, you know, now they're up against Tyne and Fear, and they're probably going to go, right, what can we learn from this? How many points can we put up? Not many of Moo's got things to say about it. He is through on the inside line like something very fast. I can't think of any similes at the moment.
Bullet through the air.
Yeah, that's a cliche. I'm an English teacher. I'm not going to use that. What about oh, goodness me. Like a man who's wearing 8 wheels strapped to his feet and driving forward. That's fast.
Frictionless.
Frictionless.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, there's a replay which is better than my terrible similes. Ooh, bit of a hit there on one of Newcastle's blockers. Just a bit of space claiming.
So Trick or Threat going up against Dark Matter. Tyne and Fear obviously in white if you're just joining us. And the Manneken Beasts in the grey.
Grey, black-ish, lovely shirts. And
Really
Tyne and Fear, of course, being accented by some lovely yellow socks from a couple of the jammers. Nice weaving through the pack there by Dark Matter. Picks up lead once again. He's having a very consistent game. And in the meantime, we are having a power jam situation as Trick or Threat is sat in the penalty box. None too happy about it. What penalty is that he's got? We don't know the codes. We're not referees. We're going to find out. It's an A. I've only had 1 cup of coffee today, dear listeners.
There's people watching going, A stands for, they're shouting at their screen.
We can't hear you.
And we can't hear you. I'm terribly sorry.
I have actually passed my rules test. I just can't remember it right now. We're having a little replay on the screens for you. Look at that lovely weave, dip, dive in out there by Dark Matter.
Incredibly smooth.
And Sparky now with the power start having a wee chat to his team.
So that was a high block.
How does A stand for high block? There's literally no A in any of those words.
So that means so Trick and Threat is now returning to the track after taking a sit down for a high block.
And unbelievable work there from Trick or Threat. Just spinning, and I think he just did like a 360 apex jump or something ludicrous.
He was plenty happy to deliver that phenomenal piece of footwork on the track for us. here in Halifax.
Oh, and Sparky, oh, beautiful apex jump in the dying seconds of that jam, but unfortunately doesn't land it before the whistle goes. Fantastic work there from Manneken Beast, putting 3 on the board. We've got one of the scores that I really enjoy. Just gorgeous. Really, really superb work.
You were saying the score that you really enjoy?
I really enjoy the score because it's 99 to 33, so it means that the leading score is exactly divisible by the other team's score, and it's also, they've got palindromic scores, and I'm a nerd, I'm sorry. Mackenzie is back jamming for Tyne and Fear, and once again picks up lead. Look at his skippy little footwork.
He's having a lovely time as he comes in on the scoring pass.
He does have a lovely time when he jams, does Mackenzie.
Streamlines through the pack, however, not having...
Like a dolphin.
Like a dolphin, not having such a wonderful time. Murdoch at the back, yet to get the initial pass, trying to take advantage of the fact that Sparky hasn't been sent to the box. Yes.
Sparky's not in the box.
No, Sparky's not in the box. I completely made that up.
Actually, I think there are 2 players called Sparky, or are there? There are 2 shirts. Someone's in the box for Tyne and Fear anyway.
I think there might be.
Oh, it's Fubar.
No, there's a slight error on one of the rosters in front of us. Yeah, it's Sparky.
But it's not Sparky.
It's not. No,
it's Sparky on the shirt, but it's not Sparky's face.
But it's also a different number. You've got number
Anyone
8.
who's listening without a visual is just kind of going, "What are you lot talking about right now?"
So we have 4 minutes left on the clock of the period. 110. So that last jam broke the century mark for Tyne and Fear, and then Manneken Beast on 33. And just to clarify that point, we have a number 99 Sparky who's been jamming, and a number 8 Sparky who's been blocking. One is quite easy to see because Jammer Sparky has green hair.
And in the meantime, Moo with lead once again. This is his 3rd time with stars, 2nd time with lead. Attempts the apex jump, but blocked successfully and forced to reset in the far straightaway. We've got a forearms penalty being called on Barnabash of Tyne and Fear.
And Trickle Threat gets through on the initial pass. Moo's looking ahead to the pack, deciding if he's going to call it off. Hands poised, ready.
I like that you just held your hands up like you were the jammer. You're not the jammer.
I was trying to channel my inner jammer from the comfort of the balcony that we're currently sat on above the track.
Yeah, I've got to say, at the moment, I'd much rather be sitting here than jamming. Jamming's tiring.
Give Roller Polar Bear his credit earlier for going up against NWO. That was a phenomenal end to the exhibition game that we saw a couple of hours ago. So we've got 2.5 minutes left on the period clock. 115 plays 33, and on the track we've got Tom Senna for Manneken Beasts.
And that is Dark Matter with those characteristic yellow socks. We've got number 3-2, that's La Bouche, after the penalty box from multiplayer block. Tom Senna peeling off blockers one by one, but really struggling to get purchase on Tyne and Fear. Nicholas Rage with the drawback. Dark Matter, oh, absolutely flies through the air, slides out the other side of the track, falls to reset.
And Iway looking to recycle Dark Matter there, proving that maybe this Dark Matter can occasionally be stopped ever so slightly.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's actually made of Dark Matter, because if he was, then we'd all be drawn in inextricably towards him like some kind of hole. That's science. I learned that in school.
I mean, the way that you watch the blockers flock to him, you could be forgiven for thinking he was literal dark matter.
He's a gravitational force. And he's just caught the jam. It's very good of him. 4 points put up on that last pass. 14 points there for Tyne and Fear, who are really pulling away now. You know, earlier on it was a 50-point differential. We're now almost at 100. You can see the replay on your screens there. Dark Matter trying that apex, doesn't land it, but he lives to fight another day.
Being fed another scientific fact
We
from
love
Statman.
scientific facts from Statman.
Dark matter cannot be detected by science.
By science.
So perhaps, again, there is another reason why our own, or I should say, Tyne and Fear's dark matter also seems to have 100% lead jammer ratio.
But what can it be detected by?
Well, the blockers are trying their best.
But they're not using science. They're just going, oh, we'll stand here and see if it works. Oh, interesting tactic here from Manneken Beast, who have passed the star off to their pivot before even getting out of turn 1.
And Sparky has actually held on to the star, has removed it
from
his head. So we're going to see the full 2 minutes run out. We've got 1 minute 30 left on the jam, 30 seconds left on the period clock.
Yeah, interesting there, and actually quite a good distraction tactic from Manneken Beast, because of course Sparky, having removed the star with a star stash, is not eligible for lead status now, which is probably what they were hoping. Murdoch playing jammer now for Manneken Beast, has put up 4 points. Sparky on 8 currently.
So that's the period clock expired. A minute left on the jam. Both of them are now scoring. Another 4 picked up by Sparky. Murdoch not having quite the same success at the moment. But actually, Murdoch manages to knock Sparky off and has decided to take him all the way back around the track, with Murdoch returning to the Slick Bearings jam line.
So now if we could all just talk amongst ourselves for a minute.
Something tells me that we might see out the last 30 seconds of the game without any further movement. No, Murdoch's decided, I'm going to return to the pack.
It's interesting though, because his wall is at the back of the pack, so that is a good strategic position for them to be in. Sparky comes flying into it and is not getting through at the moment. 1 to beat, 2 to beat.
And Barnabash trying a 4 to cut on Murdoch, but Murdoch manages to re-enter legally.
And nice work there. So points picked up by both jammers. Murdoch not particularly happy about that, but I think there's some conference going on.
Yeah.
And on the replay you can just see some of the action there from the last jam. We are now in intermission. Score stands at 146 to 41 in favour of Tyne and Fear, 17 to 8 in that last jam. And we will be back with you in just under 15 minutes, so do get yourselves a beverage of your choice and don't go away. We'll see you shortly.
And welcome back to this last game of the day here in Halifax for MEQ 2018, hosted in conjunction with the MRDA, and we'd like to thank them for their support this weekend. Now, as a reminder, the top 2 teams from this weekend, the round robin, will take the final spaces at the MRDA Champs on the 12th to the 14th of October in Salem, USA, hosted by MRDA and Bridgetown Roller Derby.
And I was just having a little bit of a chat with some of the people from Tyne and Fear over half-time, and I was saying I think the most interesting or contentious matchup this weekend, which will be seen tomorrow, is probably at this point going to be between them and Lincolnshire Rolling Thunder. They have both put huge scores up on the boards today, and I think that will be a real battle. So thank you very much for joining us on this live stream, but do not forget to tune in tomorrow to see that. Quick reminder of how the scores stand at the end of this first half. 146 to 41 in favour of Tyne and Fear. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm still hugely impressed with Manneken Beast, who are playing with a roster of 8 skaters. 3 jammer rotation that they're running pretty much, but do an amazing job on track. Tyne and Fear were also saying to me at half-time, you know, they were saying it's a very different game from earlier. They're not able to run these long jams. They're not able to just put up 30-point pass, 30-point jams. They're really having to be much more tactical, much smarter, much quicker with the competition that Manneken Beasts are putting out. And whilst it's not likely, it's not impossible for that score to be made up in the second half.
Absolutely not.
This is roller derby.
And especially when you've got a team like Manneken Beast that are playing an incredibly clean game for 8 people. We've only got 9 penalties
between them.
Tyne and Fear, I mean, they have such a full roster that it goes off the screen that we're looking at in front of us, but they, between them, only have a handful of penalties as well. So we've seen, 2 or 3 power jams. But we're back in play. The second period begins, and we see Trick or Threat going up against Dark Matter, continuing his 100% streak of lead jammer throughout the game so far.
Yeah, Dark Matter now on your screens, coming around for a first scoring pass. Coming in quite slow, taking a wee bit of time just to manoeuvre around, get a feel for the wall before finding the gaps. Lovely work there from Dark Matter, and calls off the jam very calmly. And I think actually that is probably what will characterise this second half. There's no need for Tyne and Fear to play a frenetic game at this point. They've got quite a convincing lead. What they need to do is conserve that lead, not give away silly penalties by flying into the pack or, risking the edges.
Well, also both of these teams have more games to play this weekend as well, so they've got to keep something in the tank.
I honestly don't know how they do it. Playing 4 full-length games over the course of 2 days is a pretty tough feat. Sparky, though, doesn't look tired at all. He is lead jammer for Tyne and Fear, racing around the track, ducking and diving around Iwe.
Yeah, Panda getting caught up in the Tyne and Fear trap that is a really good wall.
It's a trap!
It's a trap!
Oh, we're nerds. We apologise. Sparky just pushing through on his pivot there, just getting a wee bit of space from 60 quad bits. And Panda, with the star in hand, is now working to edge his way around Tyne and Fear, which is not an easy thing to do.
Pivot's lingering around to try and get the star pass. The star has been passed, and it just wasn't quite quick enough. Flash Bandicoot was there, primed, ready to take it, and it just looked like a small fumble in the transition. If that had been as slick as they intended to be, he would have been straight out of there. Unfortunately, now caught up behind. The initial pass still yet to be sought, with 48 seconds left on the jam clock.
And Sparky really smooth this jam on another scoring pass. He has put up 25 points so far. So 5 Grand Slam passes.
Flash Bandicoot still holding the star cover in hand. Currently just displayed with the pivot. Some offense is being fielded, but it's really not making a lot of difference. And literally a matter of seconds on the clock, and Tyne and Fear have managed to hold Manneken Beasts without initial for an entire 2 minutes.
Yeah, really, really great work there. And a 34-point jam to show for it. And that lead now.
So look at that pass from Sparky as he goes around the outside of turn 3. Incredibly nimble.
Oh, such great balance there on that outside line to stay in bounds. Now we've got 2 little bit fierce jammers. We've got Tom Senna for Manneken Beast, and we've got Mackenzie. And Tom Senna was just patting his head there at the start of the jam. I think he was indicating to his team, where is the pivot cover? Because it looks like in the rush to get on track, Manneken Beast have not fielded a pivot.
Yep, so whatever happens, Tom Senna is going to be looking to get out. I mean, look at the lack of movement that Tyne and Fear, and they're taking every inch from Tom Senna as they try to push forward.
Mackenzie, in the meantime, with another Grand Slam. Mackenzie's kind of style of jamming is that when he comes up against a wall, he almost pretends to let the wall hold him. He kind of gives them a little bit of a push, and then he finds the weak spot and goes for it.
Really nice piece of offense coming in from Manneken Beast, just taking out one of the Tyne and Fear blockers. It hasn't made it's made a dent, and we've managed to, get around another quarter of the track. But that initial yet to be saw with Ayrton Senna without the ability to star pass because the pivot has not been fielded.
Mackenzie just taking a look at that pack, using number 8, that other Sparky, to try to edge through a bit. And now he's at the top with 3 to beat.
I mean, we've got 30 seconds left on the jam clock so far, 5 minutes gone on the second period. I'm wondering whether we're starting to see a little bit of team fatigue from Manneken Beasts. With 2 jams now where potentially we'll go a full 2 minutes without initial being sought.
And maybe that is Tyne and Fear's tactic, to grind them down with these slower jams when possible. Not necessarily to put points in the wall, but as you said, to win via attrition.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe even the display of not fielding a pivot could also indicate that even the bench are starting to feel the game take its toll.
Oh, I think that was just a mistake that happened, but certainly didn't play in their favour, that jam. We're just taking a wee pause because Nicholas Rage is having a bit of an injury, but you can see on the replay some bodies just flying on the floor, as they have been wont to do this weekend. And you can see the score, 199 to 41. So Tyne and Fear very close to that double century.
The medic giving us a thumbs up.
That's
just to let us
good.
know, Nicholas Rage has returned to the bench and is on his wheels and seems to be shipper.
It's not easy to take out Nicholas Rage, let me tell you.
No, it's certainly
Man
not.
is solid. He's also really nice. He's a really nice guy. Did a great job at the World Cup earlier this year with Team Netherlands. And yeah, just a cracking player in general.
So we've got a full 80 wheels on the track.
Oh, good maths. What's that plus the referee's wheels?
Oh my word.
And Moo with a beautiful little dip to the inside line. Picks up lead status very quickly. Barnabash drawing trick or threat back and holding him in quite an aggressive pinned wall. Oh. And looks like we have the jam whistled for injury. So just while that is attended to, we will take some time to talk to you about some of the various people who have been so fantastic this weekend. Of course, we have been mentioning the MRDA, the Men's Roller Derby Association. MEQ 2018, this tournament, is hosted in conjunction with the MRDA, and we would like to thank them for their support this weekend. As Brom said earlier, the top 2 teams will take the final spaces at MRDA Champs, which are being held on the 12th to 14th of October in Salem, Oregon in the USA. And that is hosted by MRDA and Bridgetown Roller Derby. Bridgetown, of course, absolutely formidable force in the world of men's roller derby. And I'm sure that will be a phenomenal championship to witness.
Look at the pensive conversations taking place from the officials in the middle, and obviously a great opportunity to say a huge thank you to all of our officials on track and off track that are making the wheels turn, as it were, on the tournament.
Oh, I see what you did there. I think it's the bearings that make the wheels turn, actually.
Would they be slick bearings?
Oh, would they be slick bearings? The slick, not just quit bearings.
They would be.
One bearing for all that are sponsoring our Jammer line this weekend. Oh, I think there might be. What a lovely coincidence. Nice segue there, Brom.
Also, thanks to our host, Manchester Roller Derby, for organising the tournament, and our sponsored charity, or Manchester Roller Derby's sponsored charity, is Manchester Mind Mental Health Charity. Mind are an amazing mental health charity working across the entirety of the United Kingdom and in local communities, making sure that we are keeping sound of mind. Please do support as well. So massive thank you as well to all of our track crew.
Our volunteers, our army in burgundy shirts.
I love the burgundy.
Well, we got purple, which I personally think is, well, it suits me better. And of course, we've got our officials there, kitted out in lovely black shirts provided to us so kindly by Roller Derby City. And our track repair crew currently just going around checking that everything is taped down tickety-boo. Because, of course, we wouldn't have Roller Derby without a track. Although I envision a future, right. This I'm gonna go on Dragons.
Oh, we're gonna go on.
I'm gonna go on Dragon's Den with this, guys. Okay, right. This is serious. Okay, in the future there will be smart floors, like smart screens. Okay, and we will be able to project any kind of sports court lines that we will want. So, like, if we're looking at the track now, it's all a bit confusing, isn't it?
It
It's
is
yellow
so
and
confusing.
yellow and black, red and white, plus all these other non-sport lines that are there, you know, like badminton or basketball or something.
It's a good idea. It's a good thing you kept that idea to yourself and, you know, didn't share it with an online internet stream.
Copyright Golden Snatch 2018. I've been talking about this for ages. I've also suggested glow in the dark roller derby, but the WFTDA have not got back to me on that one yet.
I'd love to do neon roller derby.
Can you imagine glow in the dark roller derby?
UV.
Glow in the dark.
UV would be awesome, and with everyone's pads and everything all in UV.
Yeah, well, exactly. Stop stealing my ideas. It would be glow in the dark kit, glow in the dark track, glow in the dark officials, and it would be really safe.
Well, the officials would already glow in the dark because the white would naturally, if you put under UV light, they'd show up.
Well, I
think
think we should get on this as soon as possible.
Statman, can we make that happen? Yeah.
Statman's
Great.
in charge of things. He'll help us out. So I like that we're seeing some nice smiley shots of Tyne and Fear on the track right now.
They are a happy bunch.
Do they know they're on camera? I hope
Probably not. They're probably a happy bunch because if they win this game, they'll be tied first with Lincolnshire Rolling Thunder, and obviously the top two teams from this weekend going through to Salem, Oregon for the MRDA champs.
I think it will be very interesting to see those two teams potentially go through because they will be relatively unknown and also quite underestimated, I think, by the rest of the teams going to champs.
Absolutely.
I don't think, and this is just an inference I'm making, but I don't think a lot of the big American teams set much stock by British teams that aren't SDRD or New World Order. And so it'll be really interesting for those teams to go and make their mark over in Salem, Oregon. But, you know, I digress. We're speculating a lot about the future. We do apologise for the delay at the moment, folks. We do have an injury on track right now that is being seen to by our wonderful medical team. So you must forgive us while Brom and I have a bit of a ramble.
Obviously, we do just want to highlight, we apologise for the absence of overlays on the screen. So we'll just update you, 201 to Tyne and Fear. The last jam, when it was called off due to injury, we saw 2 points added to Tyne and Fear's score, which took them over the double century mark. And then 41 to Manneken Beasts with 24 minutes left on the period clock.
The good news is that Tyne and Fear's jammer, which I think was Moo, I could be wrong, is up, conscious, on skates, on wheels, being taken back to his bench. He will, of course, sit out a minimum of 3 jams now since the jam was called for injury, but he is very much still with us, which is fantastic to see. And, of course, a huge thank you to our wonderful medics who are keeping us all as safe as it can be possible to be.
A massive thank you to MB Events, our medics, as well as Northbridge Leisure Centre, our venue, and Nyman's, who have done all of the electrical testing to make sure that we are safe and legally viable as an event.
Within the confines of the law. And Panda is jamming for Manneken Beast and very aggressive out the front of the pack, but Dark Matter, slick and quick through the pack. Very nice and smooth. But Panda also out.
Panda shrugging off that final block like, yeah, no bother off my back.
No bother. Dark Matter not risking another scoring pass, calls off the jam. Interesting, always interesting to see if there's a shift in momentum after we've had quite a pause. And it looked like Manneken Beasts here on this replay came out pretty aggressively, managing to escape that pack, so good for them.
Well, I mean, we'd only just been saying that maybe there was a bit of team fatigue setting in from Manneken Beasts, but they came back with a vengeance.
And now we've got Sparky lining up against Trickle Threat. Sparky throwing a shoulder into Trickle Threat off the slick, not just quick jam line. Oh my goodness me! But it does not play in favour. Trickle Threat keeping his cool. Picks up lead. Sparky not far behind.
Yep. Both jammers coming in on a scoring pass. Manneken Beast set at the back. So giving away 2 points apiece. No, we're seeing 3 points awarded to Tyne and Fear, 2 points to Manneken Beasts. 22 minutes left on the period clock. 2:08 plays 43.
And now we're going to see Fubar with the start. Now, it's been a while because Fubar ran into some penalty trouble quite early on in the game, picking up cut tracks in jams jams 3 and 9 of the first period. But now we're in jam 7 of the second. He is with the start, but my goodness me, Herton Senna with the lead for Manneken Beasts.
2 in a row now for Manneken Beasts. Coming in on the scoring pass. Initial yet to be got by Fubar.
Credit to Fubar because I believe he is a crossover jammer, like a B team, a jammer for Tyne and Fear's B team, who has kind of stepped up the rotation this weekend. So he's had a great tournament. Just maybe experiencing some of that fatigue that you mentioned.
Yeah, Fubar actually holding the cover in his hands. Pivot is incredibly close by, ready to take if Fubar wants to pass it, because it's been 1 minute now without Tyne and Fear getting their initial pass. Something we haven't seen really this game.
But Tyne and Fear have not really been using the start passes, although number 82, that's Dog, the pivot, is there. And he did have his hand out a minute ago, saying, I'm here if you want it, mate. And there it goes. Dog now has the star and is with 2 to beat at the front, just going to push them out of play.
And it took 1 minute 30 for Tyne and Fear to get their initial.
And that's, I think, the longest they've been held all game. And no points put up there. Fantastic job by Manneken Beast, who have put up 13 points in that jam and held Tyne and Fear scoreless.
And we're just going to see that lead. I was recycled back, told to come back onto the track by his teammates. So pack advantage is going to sit with Tyne and Fear, as Flash Bandicoot is currently in the penalty box.
And we've got Mackenzie lining up once again against Trick or Threat. And Mackenzie spinning around that wall, gets some offense from his pivot and picks up leads.
Trick or Threat finds the space on the outside, gets past, picks up the initial. An incredibly quick call off from Tyne and Fear.
Yeah, Mackenzie took a knee and put a foot out and just decided it wasn't going to be worth it to pop back up and reset in the time.
So 3 more points added to their score takes them to 211. We've seen quite a slow 6 minutes from Tyne and Fear. They haven't quite leapt forward in their score as they had throughout the game. Manneken Beasts behind them now with 56, and there is 19.5 minutes left on the period clock.
Panda up against Dartmatter now. Panda with a bit of a run up into that tripod. Oh, lovely work there from Panda. Just very quick and silent almost on that inside line. And that is very difficult to get lead jammer when Moo is your opposing player. But get lead jammer he does. Calls off the jam, although wasn't convinced that was a full call off at first, but you know, he went with it. 3 points on the board for Manneken Beast that last jam.
So it's a bit of a change of pace for Manneken Beast in the last 5 minutes, as in they seem to have picked up their pace and they've come together and they're working more cohesively.
I suppose they figure there's nothing left to lose at this point. It's the last game of the day. They've got 12 and a bit hours to rest after this.
Exactly.
It'll be fine.
Throw
Sparky.
what they've got left into it.
Sparky now with a bit of a slow start. Oh, unbelievable work there from Herton Senna. They must have some kind of tactic to clear that inside line right now, because it's worked for them in 2 consecutive jams. Sparky is out of the pack, about quarter of a track behind. And Herton Senna coming up against Tyne and Fear, calls the jam, picks up un point.
I mean, Manneken Beast might be getting out quickly but they're not holding, apart from the 1 minute 30 that they held Tyne and Fear to a couple of jams ago, they're still getting out quite quickly, so they're quite short, sharp, low-scoring jams.
They do, I mean, the thing is, if you give jammers like Sparky or Dark Matter the chance to get another scoring pass and get the momentum back up, that's a threatening position for them to be in. So it makes more sense tactically for them now to do what they're doing, which is to be getting leads, getting that perhaps those few points.
So we've got a team timeout called by Manneken Beasts. We've seen Nicholas Rage just having a quick catch up with what we presume would be the next lineup. If rather wonderfully, Manchester Roller Derby have actually made it so everyone can enter the raffle, whether you're here with us or whether you're sitting at home, on the bus, on the train, or wherever you are in the world. All the same prizes are available. Go to nwomeqraffle.ficket, that's FIKKET.com, nwomeqraffle.ficket.com, and you'll be able to pick up a raffle ticket. All of the physical sales and online sales will be pulled together, and then winners drawn at the end of the weekend, and all the prizes are listed online as well.
Marvellous. It's almost like we're using the internet to make the world a better place.
Technology.
Not only do you get to hear our voices, you might get to win prizes. 5 seconds called, trickle threat, and up against Mustache, who's not been out for a while. Again, he ran into some penalty trouble earlier, sitting 2 consecutive penalties in a single jam, I believe. But now, maybe this little break is what could be used. Not this time, though. Trick or threat, picking up lead. 3 lead jams in a row for Manneken Beasts.
Trick or threat about to come in on a scoring path. The initial has been got by Mustache. And we're definitely seeing 2 points added to Manneken Beast's score. Tyne and Fear held to 0 again.
Yeah, I mean, they still do have a significant lead, but Manneken Beast just chipping away patiently, bit by bit. And now we've got Mackenzie up against Panda.
Yes, that man just saying, imagine if Manneken Beasts brought their full roster.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
what a possibility.
8 versus a full roster, but going head to head.
And that is actually a real shame, because they could be a massive contender, I think, if they did, to go to Salem, but sadly not meant to be. Mackenzie with lead status once again for Tyne and Fear. Being taken to the edges, which is, you know, he doesn't mind being on the edges, Mackenzie, but he prefers a nice bit of space to tiptoe through.
Panda attempting the tiptoe around the inside of turn 1, just knocked off as he goes to put down the second foot.
And Mackenzie re-engaging with Manneken Beast in full-on lockdown right now. 60 quad bit coming in to try to break up that wall.
Panda takes quite a big chunk to the floor.
Oh, lovely bit of shielding offense there from Barnabash to get Mackenzie through.
Panda taking time with the re-entry, just probably assessing the situation, waiting for the offense to be ready to come in and try and create the hole to get the initial pass. And actually, we've seen Pivot come to the rescue, takes the star and gets the initial Murdoch now for Manneken Beasts.
Nice little low shot there. And Mackenzie calls it, does it call it? And he calls it a fraction too late, conceding 2 to Manneken Beasts on that last pass, but putting up 9 of his own.
I think that's the most points that Tyne and Fear have scored in about 5 jams.
Points is points. And
Absolutely.
we have just under a quarter of the game left on the period clock.
Dark Matter and Hertom Senna, everyone on track. Densely populated, moving from 1 to 2. But the space has been found and lead's been picked up by Dark Matter.
And a cut track issued to Hertom Senna. off to the box for Manneken Beast, which makes us a power jam in favour of Tyne and Fear. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. Dark Matter slides through to pick up the 5 in the sky.
And that is Herr Thompson's second penalty. They've both been cut tracks. One in Jam 12 of the first half and one now in Jam 13 of the second.
Herton Senna now standing, poised, ready to return to track.
And just makes it out the box before the jam is called, so there will be no power start for Tyne and Fear.
13.5 minutes left on the clock, 230 for Tyne and Fear with 10 picks up in the last jam. 65 points for Manneken Beasts, held to nothing and jam 12 of the second period.
And an official review is being called by Manneken Beasts. And we will bring the results of that to you very shortly. I'm going to remind you one more time of that website that you should visit if you wish to purchase raffle tickets, which will be put in with the physical raffle tickets that we're selling here this weekend. So, nwomeqraffle.ficket.com. Ficket spelled F-I-K-K-E-T. So that's nwomeqraffle.ficket.com. I have no idea what Ficket stands for, otherwise I would tell you.
Fantastic.
I'm not from
internet.
the north. Don't try to.
No, I can't.
Don't try, Brian.
I've not got. It's the end. It's the last game of the first day, and I've not
is.
got enough funnies left.
I ran out quite a significant period of time ago. I'm not going to lie. But yes, it is the last game of today. But of course, we have a whole other day of action for you tomorrow, including a juniors game, which I am so pumped for because I love watching juniors play.
Especially many of them returning from just playing over in the USA
for the Junior World Cup.
Junior World
and
Cup
the JRDA champs,
yeah, and just amazing to see Team GB there represented.
Oh yeah, and super exciting to think that so many of those skaters will age up quite soon. You know, a few of them are 15, 16, 17, and hopefully we'll see them playing for their senior national teams in a number of years' time, perhaps at the next World Cup. Who knows?
So we're moments away from bringing you the update on what the official review was.
And in the meantime, Sparky is wearing the star once again, up against Trickle Threat.
So Manneken Beast were calling for a skating out bounds penalty to be assessed on one of Tyne and Fear's players, but the no call stands and the official review will not be retained.
I mean, you might as well use it at this point with 13 minutes to go.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, a great piece of work there from Trickle Threat. 30 seconds in and picks up lead. Sparky still snarled up in that pack, star in hand, but breaks through those arms of the Manneken Beast to make it through on his initial.
Unusual to see Sparky have to wait about, to wait 38 seconds to get through a pack. But four points added to Manneken Beast. That takes Manneken Beast to 69, Tyne and Fear 230. Just over 12 minutes left on the second period. And of the game. And the first day.
And of my life. Well, that sounded a bit dark, didn't
That didn't it? MEQ existential crisis.
It's my life, really. It's an existential crisis, just exacerbated by roller derby.
So we've got Fubar and Panda.
And Fubar picks up lead on the inside, just staying bound by a hair's breadth of a toe stop.
And Tyne and Fear currently without their pivot, who went to the penalty box for a back block.
Yeah, and that's Nicholas Rage sitting in the penalty box as pivot. Unusual to see Nicholas wearing the pivot cover, although I do remember him doing quite a lot of really good jamming at the World Cup, so maybe he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Fubar attempts the bean dip around the outside, forced to reset, and calls the jam before any further points can be scored by Manneken.
And now we're going to see an official review called by Tyne. It's approaching that last 10 minutes of gameplay, isn't it?
It's like, quick, let's use them. Let's use the things that we have.
So, as things currently stand, and we're working on the assumption here that if Tyne go on to win this game and Manneken Beasts don't, then we will see Lincolnshire Rolling Thunder in joint first with Tyne at the end of today, both having won 2 games apiece. Manneken Beasts will have won 1, lost 1, and then joint fourth. We've got Barrow Infernos and Nottingham having lost both of their games today. It'll be interesting to see what day 2 brings, whether we see some changes there.
I'd put my money on Barrow Infernos doing quite well tomorrow. I've seen them play before. They're a very consistent team. They know each other very well. They've just, every time we see them on track, they are playing the same game. And whilst that might mean that they come across as predictable in some ways, I'm not sure in this tournament setup that a lot of teams are going to adjust to that consistency. And consistency is going to really get them through the kind of 2 games tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I could be talking total rubbish, but nobody's listening to me anyway. So
I am paying close attention to everything you're saying.
oh, you're very
I
sweet.
appreciate
I
you.
mean, that is entirely your decision to do that.
So we'll bring you the update on the official review in a moment. But in the meantime, we've got Hurton Senna currently yet to complete initial. But we have Cam McKenzie that's picked up lead, comes in on that scoring pass. A cut track penalty has been assessed on Manneken Beasts.
That's Hurton Senna.
So it was actually holding the star in hand at the time that he was issued with that penalty. So power jam in favour of Tyne.
And Kenzie just sliding on through, skippity skip, hop hop. And 60 quad bit going in to offer up some distraction offense. Kenzie doesn't even touch the opposing wall, just slides on by.
Tyne were looking for a penalty to be assessed on Manneken Beast Jammer, but the no call stands. An official review won't be retained.
No official reviews for anyone. Mackenzie not really fussed by this in the meantime. He is putting up a lot of points at the moment, currently at 15.
9.5 minutes left on the clock, 40 seconds left of this jam. And we've seen Kenzie just go, no, we're not gonna give away any points this jam. We're gonna be quite content with the 19-20 that have been put onto the board, taking Tyne to 255. Sorry, I spoke too soon. 260 because it was a 25-point jam.
It's a lot of points. Oh, Kenzie.
And Manneken Beasts have been stuck at 69 for quite some time now.
So many comments. So little time. And anyway, Trickle Threat picks up a much needed lead for the Manneken Beast, but Dark Matter out at the pack. I think that's only the second time Dark Matter has not obtained lead jammer status this game, when he's been jamming, of course.
Yeah. No, he's been on every jam the entire game and got only twice. So Manneken Beast picking up 2 points for Tyne 262 plays 72. And we're just going to watch that back.
Oh, nice little spin there from Trickle Threat on that outside. Just perfectly balanced. Oh, we're having a wee bit of a timeout. We seem to be having a lot of those. Don't they know I've got dinner somewhere in Wetherspoons waiting for me?
Yeah, it is 8:22 p.m. local time here in the UK.
It's past my bedtime.
wherever you are joining us in the world, thank you for being with us here on this chilly summer's evening in the UK. Statman says there's Thai food with his name on it.
Well, that's a bit weird.
It's already ready.
Fried rice, stat style.
So the officials have had their timeout. And the officials are happy. And the 5 seconds has been called. And the jam is on. That was a long 5 seconds. Sparky are going up against Panda. Panda picks up leads incredibly quickly.
Yeah, that's the second time that Sparky has not been lead, second consecutive time, I should say. And as with before, he has removed the star and now peeling off Manneken blockers to make it through on his initial.
An amazing piece of footwork on the inside line. Great use of toe stops and edges alike. Get through. Look how happy Manneken beasts have got. Yeah, well done, well done.
Oh, it's nice when people are happy during roller derby, rather than looking sad.
Crystal Vice looking incredibly attentive in the just by the bottom right-hand
Well,
corner
they should
of the.
be. They're being official.
Officially official. Here in Halifax Facts.
Totes profesh.
Within the confines of the law.
Always. Moustache back on the jam line against Herr Tom Senna. Moustache getting his wriggle on. Oh, nearly squeezes through on the inside, but is drawn back
Tyne and
by the Spaniards.
Tyne and Fear having none of it with Herton Senna up the front.
No, they are. Oh, see, you jinxed it. That was your fault.
I don't know where that came from, though. They just sort of peeled away and...
They had a bit of a roll that just got the momentum going, and Herton Senna really took advantage of that. Now being edged to the outside, drawn back by Nicholas Rage.
Moustache completes the initial pass, about to re-enter on of scoring. But held to 0, while 3 points added to Manneken B's score. They hit the 80. 6 minutes, 19 seconds left of the game.
And just having a quick look at penalties, I've been really impressed this game actually with the spread of penalties insofar as that we've not got anyone sitting on more than 3. Nobody's in major danger.
At all. Really well spread out throughout the entire game as well. And for Manneken Beast, considering they are on the track so frequently, usually you'd see a bit of an increase in the number of penalties just because of the amount of track time they're getting.
Mackenzie is on track, but for the first time this game is not lead. Trick or Threat has picked up lead. He is pointing at the person in the box, kind of saying, I'm killing some time for you.
Trickle Threat got knocked off by Kenzie. Kenzie, in the process of knocking Trickle Threat off, went off himself. So now Trickle Threat's gone, I'm going to recycle you. And definitely a use of trying to run the clock a little bit to release the pivot. And the second that the pivot's released, Manneken Beast right on cue, called it off, having not picked up any points, but quite happy to just have all 8 players at their disposal.
All 8 players. It's quite a luxury, isn't it? So we're just under 5 minutes left. 262 plays 80 in favour of Tyne and Fear. We have Panda and Dark Matter, jammers of the moment. Dark Matter really using his body there to get round and pick up lead. Panda taking a knee, star in hand, but pops back up like some kind of springy toy. You know the exact ones I mean.
Yeah, it's just one hand out that kind of assisted him in getting through. Incredibly well executed and holding Tyne and Fear to only 4 points in that last jam. We hit the 4-minute mark. Sparky and Herton Senna Like I said, Tyne and Fair have two Sparkies. Sparky 99 jammer with green hair.
Jammer Sparky, blocker Sparky.
And blocker Sparky 8.
Herr Tom Senna throwing a shoulder into Horgiber there, but not as successful as Sparky, blasting out front to pick up lead. Manneken Beast doing a really good job of filling the track this half. You know, really not giving the jammers as many gaps as they had done perhaps a little bit earlier on. Nonetheless, Sparky picks up a scoring pass.
Ayrton Senna trying to push hard, taken out by Barnabash. Barnabash goes off with him. And a little hug around the outside of Yorgi Bear means that the initial pass has been completed.
Sparky decides to jump into the infield. It's not how you do it, babes. You've got to jump onto the track. But calls the jam, still in control. Has 12 points in his pocket.
Just see that moment that jumps, aims for the wrong part of the track.
I mean, we've all done it.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really got much air, if I'm perfectly honest, while on wheels.
I'll forgive him. It's not like, I mean, it's not like he plays with Team England or anything, you know. He's allowed to make mistakes.
Timeout called by Manneken Beasts.
And we have 2.5 minutes left on the period clock with almost 200 points separating these teams. It's 198 points.
So Panda hasn't got a single penalty. Track Vader hasn't got a single penalty. And Iway hasn't got a single penalty.
That's rather good, isn't it?
That's incredible. I mean, again, for the amount of track time, especially Panda, jamming, working as hard as Panda is, few leads underneath his belt.
Yeah, some really nice clean play there from the Manneken Beasts. And to be fair, there are a number of people on Tyne and Veer who have not got a single penalty either. Dark Matter, Pablo Diablo, Tank, Kamikal, Badam, Kenzie, Blockbeard, Bull, Dalai Karma, Horgiber. Oh no, Jammunition does have one. But you know, that's 2/3 of their roster easily with no penalties. So a really great testament to the high level roller derby that's been played and proof that you don't need to throw yourself about the track in a silly manner.
Yeah, their gameplay is certainly going to be cleaner than their kit after today.
Oh, I don't want to think about how bad those shirts are going to smell. Oh, that footwork! Oh, so good there from Trick or Threat. Just leaping and landing perfectly. Could not have done that better. Dark Matter also out the pack.
And a one-footed hop call-off to pick up 4 points. On to Manneken Beast score.
Such nice work there from Trick or Threat.
Really nicely held.
It would be really nice if, in this last couple of minutes, if Manneken Beast could put up a couple of big jams and hit the century. But we'll see what happens. We've got two of those jammers who have played a lovely clean game on the jam line, Mackenzie and Panda.
I mean, the Manneken Beasts have slowed down Tyne and Veer in this second period. There's no two ways about it. The Tyne and Veer haven't put as much on the board as they did in the first half.
Oh, I don't know. There was 100 points or so separating them in the first half, and there is more than that now. But I know what you mean. It's felt like a very contentious final quarter, certainly, where they've really got Tyne and Veer's number a bit more. But nonetheless, lovely work there from Mackenzie. Picking up lead once again.
Yeah, Panda tries to a repeat of the spin that got him lead last time he was on track. Doesn't quite work. Barnabash recycles Panda back. Panda goes in, finds some space on the inside line, gets through to complete initial.
And some really nice offense being offered up by Tyne and Veer, particularly 60 quad bit.
And we've seen less than 1 minute left on the clock, 50 seconds left on the period clock. Gonna see one more jam at the very least. And taking on the gauntlet, we've got Sparky and Ayrton Senna. An empty penalty box going into the last 24 seconds of the game.
Look what you've done. Look what you're about to do. So Sparky shrugging off a hit there from Murdoch. Picks up lead. It's the first time in a few jams that Sparky's got lead, and he's going to run it for all it's worth, I'll bet. Well, when I say all it's worth, until it tactically makes sense for it to call off.
Nice point of clarification. Ayrton Senna yet to get that lead. With the period clock has expired. 1 minute 34 left on the jam.
Nice work there from, I think that was Murdoch, just pushing Sparky into the infield and drawing him all the way back.
1 minute to go, 1 minute 20 to go. Sparky taking the outside line to pick up a full 5 points. Are we going to see Tyne and Fear break the 300 mark as the jam clock reaches 1 minute?
Well, Sparky taking a flying leap there, but a blocking out of play penalty.
Ayrton Senna
issued.
Passes the star to Murdoch.
And as hard as it is to believe, that is the end of the game. The unofficial score is 294 to 84. So 110 points difference. And we're just seeing on the replay that last jam with Sparky picking up lead. Lovely little hop there over the apex. And just been taken down by Murdoch there in the other apex.
And so that is your final score, 294 points for Tyne and Fear, plays 84 for Manneken Beast. That means that at the end of MEQ Day 1, we're seeing Lincolnshire Rolling Thunder and Tyne and Fear finishing on 2 wins apiece, which puts them in joint first, puts them in good standings as we go into Day 2 tomorrow here in Halifax.
And you don't want to miss a second of it tomorrow. Be on the stream from 9 a.m. I will... we'll both be back. You're fortunate to hear. Thank you very much for joining us on the stream today. You may now take a rest for approximately 11 hours. I've been the Golden Snatch.
And I've been Brom, and thank you to Statman for joining us in wonderful production capacity. We'll see you back here at 9 a.m. BST in the morning.